Hey everybody, welcome to Optimism Fractal. We're here at our 14th event. I'm Dan, I'm with Rosmari, Vlad, Tadas, Hodlon, and Zaal. We're talking about Zaal's cool outfit and PFP and then all sorts of other fun stuff too, all sorts of meetups. We are about to get into playing the respect game as we do here. And I'm also going to give a little presentation to show where we're at with Optimism Fractal, a little recap. Thanks everybody so much for being here. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you all. Feel free if anyone wants to say hello or share any quick thoughts. Otherwise, I'll jump into a presentation and I'll just share a quick overview of where we're at and what is coming next for today's Optimism Fractal meeting. All right, so Optimism Fractal, you can learn more at optimismfractal.com. Of course, it's a community dedicated to fostering collaboration and awarding public goods creators and optimism. And we're doing really exciting things to create an abundant future and actualize the optimistic vision, help fund and reward and award public goods creators. It's a great place to meet optimists every week and collaborate with talented innovators. We have our weekly meetings every Monday, and you can also earn respect by playing the profoundly hopeful consensus game called the Respect Game. I'll provide a little more overview for anyone who's not familiar with that, but basically we'll all work to reach consensus about who's helping optimism the most, and people get more respect tokens based on that. And then it's also, of course, a great place to promote your work because we post videos of these meetings every week. So come join us to grow optimism and invite your friends. We're also using tools on the OP stack built by Vlad and Tadas as well. They're super helpful that I can get into more as well. I am going to just share real quick the next link, which I just realized that I forgot to include, but I am dragging it over right now, and it is an introductory post from Rosmari about Optimism Fractal. She's posting on Farcaster, which if anyone's not following, it's growing a lot. It's really exciting. It's like a social media app that's built on optimism. So we put out these promotions every week to remind people to join Optimism Fractal and show all the cool stuff that we're doing here. So I encourage you to follow on X, follow on Farcaster, retweet to help spread the word, or repost or wherever it is. Thanks for the great post. And yeah, you can check out lou.ma/optimismfractal to learn about our weekly events. And we have these every Monday at 17 UTC. Encourage you all to invite your friends. And lately, we've also been doing a planning session as well. So the main event is an hour. We play the respect game, and then there's a half-hour planning session afterwards too, for anybody who's interested in coordinating the future of Optimism Fractal and planning out our next steps. As I said, we produce all of our videos from each event, and you can see this at optimumfractal.com/media, such as the most recent video we published from a few weeks ago for consensus gaming and region builders and impact scores and retro rankings and impact seasons, stuff like that. And then each one of these episodes has a cool video, lots of great collaborations that you can see with timestamps. You can see each person's presentation during their spec game and all sorts of cool discussions in the planning sessions as well. And then there's show notes and much more you can learn here too about each episode as well. So if anyone's not familiar with Optimism, check out optimism.io. Check out the Superchain. It's a low-cost and lightning-fast Ethereum 2 blockchain and superchain network that's powered by Optimism. There's a lot you can learn on it. The community is really devoted to helping fund public goods and creating a better future for the internet. I've also been checking out optimism.guide, where there's lots of courses. There's lots of great community created content about optimism, such as a video course that's also created about optimism too that you can find here at optimism.guide. So encourage you to learn more and share with friends if you haven't. For whatever reason, that video is not loading, but you can find it there. And also the Optimistics, or the team that started Optimism Fractal as well. So we have a lot of great content about optimism, and you can learn more about us and Optimism Fractal at optimystics.io. I've said that before a lot, but you can check it out and watch our previous videos and explore the website and stuff like that to learn more about optimism and all the cool stuff we're doing here with Optimism Fractal and the Optimystics team. We're going to play the respect game today. I think everybody here is quite familiar how to play. Welcome, Abraham, by the way. But for anyone who's not familiar, basically we're going to go into breakout groups of 3 to 6 people, and then we're each going to share what we did for about 4 minutes of optimism, and then rank each other's contributions and use some great OP stack tools to award each other with respect, and people get more respect for helping more. And then we have details at optimismfractal.com/details, so you can learn more about how exactly it all works at Optimism Fractal. And of course, you can check out our tools too that we're using here at optimist.io/tools. One quick announcement I'd like to make too, and kind of a big thank you and congratulations to the community, is about the Optimism Fractal Sages Council, or the Optimism Fractal Council, which we recently started as of last week. We concluded a bootstrap stage that we had for the first 12 weeks, where basically optimistics were making decisions for Optimism Fractal, but now we have a consensus process where people who earn respect in the Optimism Fractal community can make decisions and express community opinions on behalf of the community. So you can check out a post I shared in the Optimism Fractal Discord that I'm sharing my screen on now to learn more about this. And once again, thank you everybody so much to get to this point. And I'm very excited to serve on the council with y'all and coordinate a great future for Optimism Fractal. You can learn more optimismfractal.com/details. And we now have a snapshot page too, where people can make polls and proposals to vote with respect, make proposals or polls to ask the community things, and then vote with their respect tokens too. And so far, there's been 4 people to sign up for this week's council, which is, I believe, me, Rosmari, Tadas, and Father Abraham. So each week you can make a new proposal here, and we'll also put out new polls like this for each week to join the weekly council. And everybody's welcome to join if you've earned respect. And you can learn more about that at optimystic.com/details. And Tadas also said we have an opportunity, which kind of zoomed in right now. But basically, there might be a proposal that we can discuss today. So that's the Optimism Fractal Sages Council. And then we're going to be discussing that more in the planning session. But for now, we're going to go and play the respect game. So that is it for my presentation. Hope you have all enjoyed. Good to see Abraham. I think we're ready to go into breakout rooms now. So I'll start him up.
Hey Dan, real quick question. Where is the link for that page that you just had with all of the with the Sages Council?
Right now, you can find it in Discord. It's probably the easiest place. If you just go to the Optimism Battle Discord and you scroll up a little bit, you can find my message as well as the link to the snapshot. Or if you go to optimismfractal.com/details, that also has some of the information. And then maybe I'll go ahead and just post in the Discord as well the snapshot where you can make where people can make proposals there as well. And at some point, we'll maybe put up a page on optimismfractal.com to make it easier to find it as well.
Perfect, got it. Thanks.
Okay, sounds good. You're welcome. Thanks for asking. All right, the rooms are now open. Hope everybody has an awesome time. Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, hello.
Would anybody like to kick us off and go first? Good to see you all.
I can go first if no one else is feeling it.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. How's everyone doing today? It's a good Monday. I am out here in sunny California. I got a chance to ski this weekend in Tahoe, which was super cool. So I really enjoyed that. But this week I got an opportunity to chat with Dan, which for me was an amazing opportunity to talk more about the spec game, what we're doing here at Optimism Fractal, and how I can apply it to what I'm building with my brand. I'm trying to build a music and tech brand where we demystify emerging technologies for musicians. And I'm currently in the design phase of a lot of the pieces of what I'm building. I hope to eventually create a DAO. And part of that currently is trying to find different ways to find consensus for different departments of the DAO. And as I've been coming here for the last few months, I've been really enjoying what we're doing with the respect game. So I wanted to chat with Dan about just the bare bones and how we got to here and how I could maybe use it. And I'm really excited to incorporate the aspect of coming together once a week and conversing on what we built for the brand, and then being able to vote on chain to get a consistency of community members, of people's participation. One of the biggest things I'm trying to do with my DAO is trying to create a distribution mechanism for underground artists so that essentially they give away 10% of their revenue for the collective. If they want to participate in helping distribute that art, they can engage with it, they can vote for it on governance. And I think utilizing the respect game to have active participation in governance is a super clean way of doing it, because there's a lot of other ways people are currently working on it where, you know, you can spend money to get more governance, or you can be really original in the DAO and have a lot of governance, but then, you know, over time you have more governance than maybe if you're not active for a year. So I think all of the problems that we're trying to solve here in Optimism Fractal go kind of hand in hand with what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of really excited to be here, be along for the journey, and see what solutions we find, and how these new things that we can do on chain that we've never been able to do online are actually, changing the world with a real world use case. So appreciate everyone's time and thank you for letting me share.
Sounds great, Zaal. Thank you so much. And yeah, it was a real pleasure talking with you. So thanks so much. Really appreciate all your enthusiasm and great work.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Would you like to pick somebody to go next?
Ooh, we'll go
Ooh.
with, I don't know if I've heard from Vlad before, actually.
I, I think, Zal, you are in the correct place because we are also trying to figure out how to best design the DAO. And yeah, I think we can design it together. In terms of my contributions, there's been, I would say, two. One of them was just a call between Tadas, Rosmari, Dan. We again discussed yeah, you could say the design, the purpose of Optimism Fractal, trying to envision the future. And the second contribution was that I opened up Fractaly's white paper. So Dan and Rosemary know very well what Fractally is, but for you, Zal, it's essentially a community that started this whole fractal governance process thing. Okay, it's actually, there was one community before that, but the main ideas that we will most likely incorporate in Optimism Fractal's design came from this Fractally community. And I will share the link to this white paper because the guy who wrote this white paper, it's Dan Larimar, most probably you've heard of him. He's the, you first. Yeah, I'm first. So I don't want to idolize him, but I think it's the third time I'm reading this white paper, and he's just light years ahead in terms of ideas in regards to the governance. So I think you will find this paper also extremely interesting and valuable. And I'm sort of starting to get clarity in terms of what should be the no, still I wouldn't say there is clarity, but it's getting clearer in terms of what the design should be. There are some really like radical ideas, I would say, in that paper. The last one that I've been really like wrestling with is the notion that the DAO should not have any assets. For example, if Optimism Fractal would have, okay, the only asset that it could have is the self-sovereign asset, meaning the asset that it truly controls. So their own token, essentially. DAO could have, or at least that's the idea, and I'm sort of already comfortable with it, that the DAO could have only its own token that it fully controls. And the reason for that is that otherwise it's difficult to fork the DAO. So if, for example, Optimism Fractal would also have OP token, then it's not so easy to take and fork this community and start from or start again, so to say, or make a copy. So that's the main reason why there should not be any assets except for the token. But there are many other considerations, but others are like less radical ones. But for example, that the DAO should not have a legal entity. Many DAOs think, okay, we need a Wyoming DAO registering Wyoming. No, fuck that. Fuck that. no LLCs, no nothing, no legal entities. Um, so yeah, that's my second contribution. Just designing the how the fractal should look like. And one important thing that I hope that we will all agree with it. I'm taking a little bit longer, but I think we have time, right? Yeah.
Yep.
The fact that the token, the DAOs token, the respect token, it's actually such an important piece, not only to determine who is the owner of the contract, but it also should serve as um, as it is written in the, like Dan made in introduction, that the purpose of Optimism Fractal is to foster collaboration and reward public goods. So rewarding public goods, this is the part which respect token fulfills. Because if you get the respect token, it should have market value. So you should be able, through the respect token, be rewarded for your work. This is extremely important. This is, I would say, the whole point of it. That this is the mechanism how to distribute value. Like, yeah. Okay, I will stop here. You could read the white paper. Yeah. Dan, would you like to go?
I 100% will take a look at that white paper. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, sure, I'll go. And yeah, thanks, Vlad. Actually, funny thing, that white paper came out on 2/2/22 at 2:22 p.m. It was Tuesday, and it was exactly 2 years ago. Now exactly 2 years ago and 3 days ago, and that white paper changed my life a lot. And I noticed that a couple days ago, as the 2 year anniversary of it. But yeah, that had the core idea of the respect game. It wasn't called the respect game at that time. Actually, Vlad came up with the name respect game like a year later. But that had like the core idea with that is central to what we're doing. And Dan Larimar and their team has been super inspirational, and I've read it a lot and appreciate you reading that and sharing the wisdom, Plaid. Although one thing that we can discuss that we discussed at our meeting is, which I think is a key distinction, is the difference between awarding and rewarding. And we can get into more later, but I think that I like the model of awarding where the token
For,
has
for,
different thoughts. Was that?
for me, there is no difference. Either it's awarding, rewarding. For me, it's the same. You have to receive something back for your contribution. That's the point. And whether it's reward or award, okay.
Okay, we could discuss that more because I think there is a key difference there in who does the rewarding, who is the awarding. I think the awards can be helpful to help other people do the rewarding, but that's something we could get into and appreciate all the inspiring wisdom, Vlad. All right, so I'll go ahead now and share what I've been doing to help optimism lately. For one thing, I can mention that I met with Zaal this week, as he said, and it was a huge pleasure meeting about Zaal. And I also did some research into the Zaal and the Z-Talent agency. So that was really cool. I'm also trying to get my timer up right now because it keeps having an issue, but whatever, I'll just remember the time. Um, so it's awesome meeting with Sal and talking about like getting to know about his work and then also learning about how we could empower music. That's something that's been a big goal of mine, to empower musicians and collaborate with musicians as well. So that was super cool. And then in addition to that too, what have I been doing? Mostly I've been working a lot to help Optimism Fractal. For one thing, I shared this before. I put out this post. I tried to just make like a nice little post that summarized the new consensus process that we have with the Sages Council, and I put that out last week. And then right before that, I figured out exactly how to use Snapshot. I did quite a lot of research into Snapshot. I watched some podcasts about Snapshot, and then saw some other cool games and tools and communities using it. Like for example, Decentraland, they have all this cool stuff. So I did a lot of research into learning how Snapshot works, and then I made this Snapshot page for Optimism Fractal where anybody can now make a poll or proposal for Optimism Fractal and use the consensus process to voice their opinions and make decisions together and so forth. And then I put together this first poll to register to join, and then I also registered to join it. So that was one of the big things for Optimism Fractal that I did earlier in the week. And then in addition to that, I worked with Rosmari. She'll probably share it in more detail when she goes in a couple minutes. She led this project, and we've been working a lot on organizing our promotions to get more efficient and more effective at our promotions. She put some great art together, and then I gave feedback on several of the different tasks, like promoting on different chats. Like we have the Eden Fractal Telegram chat, the Optimism Fractal Telegram chat, the Optimism Discord, and so forth. So each one of these you can click and you can see more details, and then you can see I wrote some feedback and we went back and forth with comments, and it resulted in this very nice tweets and posts and stuff like that. So pleasure working with Rosmari as well. I also spent a while responding to Peth. So Peth is a founder, I believe, of Metagame and also of Dowsember, which we talked about a couple times at Eden Fractal, or at Optimism Fractal rather, in the past. And he had joined the Optimism or the Optimystics Discord chat, and he said like he's interested in learning more about Respect Game, and he was comparing it to Coordinate and so forth. And so I kind of connected with him and welcomed into the group and said I'm looking forward to learning more about his work. And then I gave an overview of comparison of Respect Game and Coordinate. I know Hodlon had also brought up Coordinate before too, so I worked on just making a nice analysis or comparison about the weekly events and governance structure and the ranking system and the reputation system and the videos and the games in Optimism Fractal. And people can learn more about in the Discord chat for Optimystics. Encourage you to join. And then I also ended up just putting together a little article as well, and then responded to Hodlon about it because he had asked about it. There's an article with more details, which you can see over here, just like a lot more detailed thing that was partially generated by ChatGPT, but if people really want to dive in deeper. And yeah, I looked into metagame a lot too. I put a lot of effort into responding and making a nice response because one, people have asked that about Coordinate, but then also because metagame seems like a really cool initiative from Peth, and it seems like he's got a lot of great builders who are aligned with this vision. And I checked out the website and watched some videos, including his episode with Kevin Walkie and some really cool stuff there. So did that, and I researched Coordinate as well, which seems like a helpful tool in many ways as well. I also,
What
what's up?
what's the Coordinate? What are they doing?
Coordinate, high level overview. You can check out coordinate.com. They have really cool branding, and like I recommend listening to podcasts with their founders. Some really cool stuff. Basically, the idea is that people can give out 100 give tokens, and then they can basically funding gets distributed by usually like a central foundation according to how those give tokens are distributed. So I might be missing some stuff. You can see on the screen to learn more. And I haven't actually used it yet, but that's my understanding from listening to some podcasts and exploring it. They have a how it works section, and then they also came out with some new cool social media kind of thing called co-links that I mean to check out too. So that's how that goes, and that's coordinate.com. Thanks for asking, Vlad. And then, yeah, Vlad mentioned we met. So I hosted the meeting with Optimistics, and I put together an agenda with a bunch of topics that we discussed at our meetings. We discussed doing respect gains within our team in addition to here, and talked about the Optimistic consensus process and planning for PGF4, consulting and conferences and all sorts of other stuff like that. And one of the main ideas that we discussed was the idea of an Optimistics fellowship, which I've been working on a lot. We're still not sure if we're going to do it yet, but we had an interesting discussion about it, and I organized a bunch of tasks about what fellowships can do. I feel like it could be a way to grow Optimism Fractal and Optimistics and so forth like that. So I had a conversation last week with GPT, and then I organized it this week into a project with like lots of different things that we could potentially do in order to create this Optimistics program. But this is kind of like an internal discussion with the team, so we haven't made a decision yet. But I'm just figuring out ways that could do this, where we could help incentivize and grow people's I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I help people get awarded and rewarded and incentivized for researching and growing with Optimism Fractal and fractal communities in general. So more to come about that in the future. And another thing, I'm probably at my 4 minutes now. My apologies, I didn't have a timer, so I'll wrap it up in the next minute. I worked on this with Rosmari a couple weeks ago, a mission request to create videos of optimism, and it got approved by Christoph from L2Beat. And then there was lots of comments that were really interesting from Mark from Advanced Blockchain and Katie and Santi and Diego and all these people. And then I worked a lot with Rosmari over the past few days on making responses to each person who left some comments asking about the importance of videos and optimism. So me and Rosmari collaborate closely on just like usually finding these to make really nice paragraphs and nice sentences that help people understand the benefits of this mission request. And then, yeah, we have a project that Rosmari put together and organized, but then there's lots of feedback that I put in, and we went back quite a bit. You can see like long messages back and forth and all sorts of comments and edits and stuff like that. So thanks to Rosmari. And then I was also looking into this optimism guide too, and learning more about that, as well as joining the optimism call this week hosted by Michael. Lastly, I always promote Optimism Fractal at the Eden Fractal events every Wednesday at 17 UTC, and we make videos and we publish these in many different groups as well. That's it. I suppose I could also say, I think everybody who's watching is familiar with Eden Fractal, but it is a community where we've been pioneering these processes for the past year and a half now or longer. And Zaal and I were talking a bit about that as well. People can learn more at edenfractal.com, but I can pass it on to Rosmari now if you're ready.
Yes, thank you. So for this week, I worked on editing the Optimism Fractals video from last week. Now it's in draft, and it's shared in the Discord channel and the Optimism Fractals Discord channel for everyone to watch. Also, I published the Eden Fractal 82nd episode and worked on timestamping the two videos from last week, as mentioned, which are currently set up as unlisted. Also worked on promoting the event, as Dan mentioned, in collaboration with him. He was providing feedback, and I worked on that image here. And this is the second part of the thread. I invite everyone to check out and follow us on Twitter at Optimystics _, and engage with our posts there and show some love. Also, I share a similar message on our Optimistics Discord, as well as the Optimism Fractals Discord and the Optimism's main Discord in the Show and Tell channels. And also made a quick cast on Farcaster pointing to our weekly events forum, governance forum post over here. I drafted it and also cross-promoted it with our tweet. And my main focus this past week has been to respond to the comments that from community members in Optimism that Dan showed earlier. Now I'm quickly skimming through them here. Huge thanks again for Crystal for supporting us and putting out this draft on creating videos about optimism. So we worked a lot on drafting these responses and making sure that we provide all the necessary the necessary ideas, and not only ideas but convincing people to support the video content creators. And we're listing out here some reasons on why that is really beneficial for optimism. And the deadline to get 4 approvals from top 100 delegates is in 2 days. So I'm also planning to campaign a bit and trying to popularize this effort so that delegates can support it, and then so that can open many opportunities for content creators. I also, as part of my research into other video content that is put out there, I saw the Optimistic Academy's course and actually watched it. This is a course that is from Santi, who responded to one of my who was one of the responses he responded as a comment to this mission request. And majority, actually, there were a few comments that were identical. For example, pointing out that there's already many good video content out there, and that really the problem is with the distribution of existing and current content, and that in a way that there's no need for more content to be created. Um, and the links that were shared were pointing out to the great content that was created by Santi from Optimistic Academy course, as well as from Diego's Cryptoversidad video series. And what I did was I watched them. So I did the course. It was really beneficial for me. It was really fun. Thank you, Santi, for making it, if you're watching this. I really like the example with the salad. And also, I also recommend everyone to check out the Cryptoversidad's video series about optimism. They're really quick to watch, and so it provides like a really great summary of optimisms. And also, I participated in a Fractals meeting last Wednesday, and where we were brainstorming on our vision as in Fractal. And I created, alongside Dan, this post promoting the event and inviting everyone to come and check out Eden Fractal. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Rosmari. I suppose one thing, just for people who might be watching who aren't sure what mission requests are, I don't know if either of us really explained it, but Optimism has a system where people can propose missions that people can earn funding to do all sorts of cool stuff. So we had worked together to make a proposal where people could earn up to 7K OP by making videos by proposing to do a mission and making all kinds of cool videos. So to just provide a bit of context there for anybody who's not familiar with how that works. It's a pretty cool system. And so it could be a way to make lots of cool videos about optimism and get people rewarded for doing so. All right.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Rosemary?
I said thank you. Thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome. And thank you very much. I started up a Fractogram group and I shared the link. I see so far we have Vlad, Rosemary, myself. So Zaal, whenever you get a chance, you could join that in the Zoom chat. And then does anybody have any questions or comments for anybody before we get into consensus? Okay, everybody has entered their optimism count except Vlad so far. And Vlad shaking his head no. Vlad's trying to find it, I think. Vlad's like, where did I leave the optimism? Okay, just kidding. Okay, so now we're going a level 6. So who do you think did the most to help optimism? Who do you think should be level 6? Okay, and it looks like we have some splitting. It looks like Zaal has 1 vote from Vlad, Vlad has 1 vote from me, and I have 2 votes from Zaal and Rosmari. Would anybody like to share their thoughts or advocate either way?
A simple principle. If I see somebody who's new and somebody who's seeing the value in the fractal democracy, so I give them top respect to encourage them to dig further.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it is super cool what Zal's thinking of doing and or what he's planning and working on. And I got a lot of visibility into all the great stuff he's doing. So I thought about ranking Zal at 6 too. I decided uh to put Vlad as level 6 in my vote because well, lots of reasons. One, Vlad's really smart, and he hasn't joined a lot of he hasn't joined most of the interactive meetings in the beginning, but now he's joining more of them, and he's getting a lot more into it. I know he's been busy with building fractal apps and other ecosystems as well. And so I really appreciate Vlad's wisdom and how he's bringing in, helping us and helping guide us here, and also bringing the ideas and really closely examining the best ideas from Dan Larimar's team and then the roots of this too. That's really valuable. That's a great builder and a great thinker. So and he hasn't earned that much respect in Optimism Fractal yet, but yet he's done a lot to help Optimism Fractal. Like he worked with Lennar to build the front end originally for Optimism Fractal, and has also brought a lot of guidance through the past few months as we've been building together too. So that's my reason for voting for Vlad. I'd also be happy to change my vote too. I really appreciate what Zaal's doing. It looks like somebody switched their vote, so it looks like Zaal switched the vote from me to Vlad. So now Vlad has 2 votes, and Zaal also has 1, and I have 1. Would anybody like to share more thoughts?
Thank you. Appreciate to hear it.
Okay. Cool. You're welcome, Vlad,
I,
and thank you.
I second that. I second what Dan said. I switched my vote to Vlad.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, Vlad it is then. Thank you, Vlad. Although we will talk more about the awarding and rewarding, because I do think that's an important distinction. And I think that in general, we'll talk more about that later. But we have a planning session to discuss things. Okay, who should be level 5? We do the second most, you think?
Actually, I have a question for Zal. With your DAO, are you planning to uh, launch it on Optimism? Or yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Optimism. My favorite thing is the OP stack. So I'm really interested in learning more about the OP stack tools. I really like everything that Optimism is doing, and then I eventually want to kind of branch off, but utilize the Optimism layer 2 to potentially make a layer 3. So I love Optimism, love what we've been doing, and then that was all before I even joined Optimism Fractal, and now it's just like, oh, this is perfect being in a room with a bunch of builders. So yeah, no, my goal is ultimately, especially being here, getting a good knowledge of optimism and learning more and utilizing how we can further that goal. So love what we're doing here.
Love to hear it, so. Thanks for the great feedback and all the great work. And you got level 5. So now we're going to level 4. And now we can see who we think should be level 4 between me and Rosmari.
It's you then.
Okay, and it's me.
Congrats.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I voted for myself there. I often vote for Rosmari over me or vote for other people over me, but I noticed I noticed that Rosmari has the most respect in Optimism Fractal currently, so I'm trying to catch up with her right now. She had like 15 more respect or 20 more respect than me, so a little
I
competition
thought
here.
that's
What's that?
I thought that's you. I thought that's you who has the most respect. That was one of the reasons why I voted no. It wasn't.
No, Rosemary's leading it. She's the honorable Rosmari, perhaps if we call it that. But I'm catching up now. I earned a little bit more this time, so maybe I'll be in first. And of course, very pleased to be collaborating with Rosmari. Very well earned respect, as well as Vlad and Zaal, and great breakout room overall. I'll put out the consensus results now. So now we can submit that to the, this is group number 1, I believe. We can submit this to the OP mainnet.
What significance is the thumbs up reaction?
Vlad, do you want to take that, or Rosemary, or should I?
I don't know, actually, no, because in other fractals we didn't do that.
It doesn't really mean anything. Like it's just kind of a thing that you could do, but the actual on-chain is the thing that we count. But it's kind of like a nice, simple visual thing you could do that Tadas built when he first built it.
Cool. And now when I'm trying to push on chain, it says blockchain not ready. But maybe it's because I'm not opening it in a thing where I have my wallet connected.
Yes, I noticed that this is what happens when if you don't have your wallet connected yet. This is where the error that it throws.
I shall copy it to my Coinbase wallet browser then.
Transaction failed.
If we want, we could just go back to the main room actually, because Tadas and Hodlon and Father Abraham are ready. So if we want to troubleshoot our transactions like that, then we can do it with them, perhaps because maybe they're having the same issue. Sound good? We'll head back there now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I can confirm that. I think I submitted.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna try that once we go back there. I'll close the room now. Thanks all for the awesome respect game, and see you at the community room.
I'm just trying to copy all the links first before it closes.
Oh, okay.
I got it.
Sounds good.
No,
Okay, cool.
thanks.
All right, cool. You're welcome. See you there in the community room.
Yep.
Hey. Welcome back, everyone. Vlad, I don't know where Vlad went. He had some mortar, I think, behind him, so maybe he went for a swim. I assume he'll be back here soon. Maybe he got disconnected or something. Hope that everybody enjoyed your breakout room. I saw Tadas and Abraham both look like you were in good spirits and having fun or having a good time. Good to hear.
I was too, you just couldn't see me.
Okay, well, yeah. It always looks like you're having a good time, Hodlon, just being out there in the mystical universe in Fractal and with your cool emote, with your cool, I don't remember what he's called. He has a specific name, doesn't he? Your NFT?
Oh, it's like it's a Phoenix mandala is the name
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
You can see in it's a GIF and you can see it in Discord when you click on my profile. It does a whole spinny thing and shoots lasers out of its eyes.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will be checking that right now.
Yeah, highly recommended. For anybody watching on YouTube, they only see the awesome looking still, but if you check it out, then you can see the lasers and um it, it's very impressive. It's very
It really is
spectacular.
the best NFT I've ever come across.
All right. Well, yeah, it's an awesome NFT. Welcome back. Probably should. I see Zaal, you're saying something, but you're muted. I don't know if you're trying to say it to us.
And the GIF is really cool. That's all.
Cool. We got like a really authentic
I
reaction to Zaal there.
I also wanted to say that the GIF is really cool.
Okay. It looks like we could probably come to consensus. Maybe our first decision as the Optimism Fractal Council could be how cool the GIF is. It seems like we're already pretty much there.
Easy wins.
Easy wins. That's what we're here for. That's one of the things. All right, cool. Well, yeah, thank you for gracing us with your awesome GIF and cool looking things. And then also we're going to start up with the breakout with the planning session in 10 minutes, but we could also start that early now. But first thing we should probably just make sure we do is just make sure that everybody's consensus results are submitted from both rooms. I still haven't had the chance to do mine actually yet, so I'm going to do it. And I know in our breakout room we had some technical issues, so curious if everybody was able to get their consensus results submitted, and then if not, if you could take care of it now, that would be good. Well, yeah, did everybody get it? I'm seeing some silence. I'm guessing everybody got it, or did anybody have any issues?
Yeah, we
I
got it.
submitted mine.
Okay, sounds good. Zaal, Abraham, to Dawson, Vlad.
So I see for the, from the first room there are only 2 submissions for now. From our room it's okay. What was that?
Figure out later. I think I have endpoint problem. I do it later.
But your audio is a little bit muffled right now. I'm not sure if I heard you there.
Here now.
Yes.
I think I have an endpoint problem, but I will figure it out later.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. I'll also submit mine as we're doing it. The formal rules in the Optimism Fractal Contest details page says that consensus results should be submitted within 2 hours, which is about an hour and 8 minutes from now. So if you could do it before then, that would be appreciated. If not, we also have our consensus process that we could use to make these decisions as well.
We have 3 out of 4 if you submit, so
Okay,
if you
yeah.
submitted.
I am working on submitting right now.
Okay.
And I think that I was successful. Okay, so I suppose while Vlad is getting that worked out, we could jump into the planning session. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, very cool. Well, then this concludes the respect game and no part, and we can have a bit of a longer planning session if we want, or we can wrap it up whenever we want, but we have at least for the next 37 minutes scheduled if we want to. And I suppose I could just maybe do a quick screen share again, just to give a little summary about where we're at with these planning sessions, what the intention is, and so forth, and then we can open it up for discussion. So maybe I'll go ahead and do that. I'll share a presentation for a minute or a couple minutes. So welcome to the Optimism Fractal Planning Sessions. We have these every Monday at 18 UTC, an hour after the respect game starts, or after the main event of Optimism Fractal starts. And this planning session provides a place where we can brainstorm, coordinate, and create the future of Optimism Fractal. So everyone's welcome to join for either part of the event or the whole event or just parts of it. So if anybody does need to go, then feel free, no problem at all. But thanks everybody for joining, and thanks for the awesome respect game, and hope everybody had a great time. And then I'm looking forward to getting into this planning session today with you, and then also our future planning sessions too. We just started doing these over the past few weeks, and I think it's a really nice addition. So it gives us time to coordinate because there's lots to discuss as a community now that we're out of the bootstrap phase and we're figuring out what to do next and lead in the future to make the best experience possible to help grow Optimism Fractal as well as possible. As I mentioned before, we do have a consensus process. I wrote, or I'm calling it the Optimism Fractal Sages Council. I think it's a cool way to put it. Basically, it's a council where, as we discussed last week, that everybody can register for to be a council member, and then the out of the people who register, the people who have the top 6 amount of respect, or the top 6 most respected members who register each week, will be on the council. And so we're having these polls each week that people can register to be part of the weekly council. And this council, I believe that there is 4 people who registered before the time. There's actually 5 now. I see Zaal registered, so cool. Thanks for registering, Zaal, as well as Abraham and Tadas and Rosmari. And so that's the count. I don't know technically. I think it might have been at the top at the start of the respect game, but I suppose we could just go ahead and just count it, and we can figure out in the future because I think that's all registered after. But I don't know if we specified exactly when the start was. But I would say that it's okay for us to have a 5-person council here, and in the future maybe we can specify if it needs to be before 17 UTC or before 18 UTC or something like that. People can learn more about the Optimism Fractal consensus process at optimismfractal.com/details, where you can learn exactly how it works. And we're going to be publishing the video from last week as soon as possible, where we discuss this for about a half hour or 40 minutes or so. And we also have lots more details in the Discord channel or Discord server for Optimism Fractal 2, where people can learn more. I think everybody probably knows this, but once again, to repeat, if anybody wants to make proposals for the community, then you can make a proposal here, the Snapshot page, which I just shared in the Discord. That's at snapshot.org/#optimismfractal.eth. And you can add a new proposal, and you can just make a poll to see everybody's opinions about things, or you can make a proposal for making some sort of change if you'd like. So feel free to do that. That's open for anybody who's earned respect, and you can vote with your respect points, and you can see how much respect points you have there. Also, Tadas shared a link to a block explorer that allows us to easily see how much respect we have. And then Tadas also had put out a message that's saying that we have a new opportunity to consent our new consensus process, and that Abraham accidentally submitted the wrong address in Telegram last week. And the whole group submitted the wrong address, I think. But he actually has another address which is correct, and Tadas said that he thinks that we should override the on-chain submission with the intended address. to test out our consensus process and also to correct this. And then Abraham confirmed that this is a mistake. And there's a link here that Tadas shared as well, where you can see the correct address and so forth. So that's something we could discuss now. And then that could potentially be the first decision from the Optimism Fractal Sages Council, or the council, if you want to call it that. And then I suppose one other thing that I can mention real quick is, and I don't know if I can pull this up real quick because I didn't have it before, but just one other thing that we kind of discussed last week is that with these planning sessions, the way that they're structured, still we started the planning sessions, but we still don't have like a specific structure for the planning session yet. So right now it's kind of just like there's 7 of us here, I think, and we'll just discuss whatever we think is most helpful. But in the future, we could also make a game out of this or use some sort of consensus process to see what we will discuss. And I have a project here for improve Optimism Fractal event structure, where I have some ideas. We sometimes play a game called Agendas at Eden Fractal and other fractal communities, where we could like vote on topics and in the Snapshot poll or somewhere else. So that's something we can do if we want. And it's actually not showing for me right now, but somewhere in this project, there's more details about this idea about how we can do that. And I'd be happy to share that if you want to discuss that. And then also one of the great thing that I tried too is Notion came out with a new feature where you can actually upvote topics in Notion, and there's a button, and it works pretty well. It doesn't count respect scores, but that's another thing that we might want to try at some point if we want to use this for topics as well, because I added a little topics in there. But that's basically that. So feel free to let us know here or in the Discord chat if there's any way you want to coordinate and arrange these Optimism Fractal planning sessions. And maybe we should get into Tadas's suggestion, or I don't know if Tadas or Abraham wants to mention that. Is that like a formal proposal? And if so, should we make that on Snapshot and then vote on it? Or is there anything else we want to discuss regarding the future of Optimism Fractal, or what we all want to do together, or anything else on your mind? The floor is open. I see Tadas shared a link. Do you want to explain that, Tadas?
Yeah, so so to recap, Abraham said that he submitted from the wrong, he submitted wrong address in the Telegram during last week's meeting. And so the whole breakout room submitted wrong address. He himself submitted from results on-chain from the right address, and he's anyway, yeah, so the proposal is to fix that issue and distribute respect to the correct address. So see Abraham is nodding. Yes.
Yeah. Just confirming that that was me, and the correct address actually has my initials in it, ABEA. Convenient.
Yeah. Now he will remember that. Yeah, so I created a poll on Snapshot already. I dropped a link in the chat. I suggest we simply vote on it. And does anyone have any questions about this issue, or want to disagree with this idea? Or
All clear.
I support this proposal.
Cool. I support it as well. Maybe I'll just, for visual effect so people can see it, just share my screen again real quick. This is the proposal that Tadas had made. Being this is our like first formal proposal, show it and see how it works and stuff like that. So if you want to vote yes, you can click yes there, or if you don't, then you can vote no. And it all works quite well with the MetaMask or Web3 wallet. And then the link that Tadas had shared, it's over here, where you can see the address and stuff like that. And also, I noticed that I think Abraham's account ends with Abe almost, which is pretty cool. So that was one comment that I have here. But otherwise, I'm in support too, and figured it's just helpful to show that. And I'm excited about our first proposal and excited to see the results. Curious if anybody has any other thoughts about it.
I voted yes.
My vote's in.
Also, how many votes do we need in a way?
yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so technically the way it is written in the intent a new council is activated at the start of a respect game. So next time we should create an expiration of a registration poll at 17 UTC.
Okay, yeah, that was my mistake in making that because I got a little confused with time zones, and I think I had it expire just now 2 minutes ago rather than an hour and 2 minutes ago. So in any case, I know Zaal was in favor of it. So whether Zaal is on the council or not for this week, and I would say just for good time's sake and memories and stuff like that. I would say Zal's in the council here, but technically against the rules, I guess it's not. But that was also my mistake for not making the right proper time.
You're saying I could have joined the council anyway, even though the time was up.
Well, yeah. So you were able to join the council up until 3 minutes ago because the way that Tadas had written the rule basically in the intent document on optimismfractal.com/details is a new council is activated at the start of the respect game meeting. And the respect distribution at that moment is determined the council. And when I had created that poll, I accidentally made it an hour later. So you could have done it up until like 3 minutes ago or 4 minutes ago. But now the poll is closed.
I missed
I'm
it.
pretty sure.
I missed my hour window.
You missed it. And now in the future, you'll have to get in there before 17 UTC because I suppose that will just make sure this rule is clear. I mean, unless we want to change it to 18 UTC, because sometimes people might want to register during the meeting. That might be something we want to consider. But I suppose we already approved this in the past, and maybe it is simpler so people don't. I, I'm not
Maybe we
sure.
can make a poll to change it or just to make an exception this time for this time.
Let's just finish with this issue. I just want to confirm that we have enough votes anyway to pass the proposal to change the address of Abraham.
I think we do. I'll go ahead and share it again. So we have there's 5 votes, I believe. I'll refresh it now, see if it doesn't refresh. Here's the poll, and we have 5 votes. It's a little difficult to tell. Sometimes there's an address. I don't know. I think this is Rosmari over here. So that means Rosmari, me, Tadas, Zaal, and Father Abraham all voted yes. And so whether we have a 4-person council or a 5-person council, it's still unanimous, all yes. What we need in order to approve a proposal is 66% or 2/3 of the council to do so. In this case, we have 100% of the council who voted yes. So this proposal is officially approved as the first proposal ever approved in Optimism Fractal. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you very much. Great stuff. In addition to our perhaps informal proposal about how Hodlon's GIF is super cool too.
I did watch it, and the lasers out of the eyes is like the crown jewel there.
Yes. It's very cool.
Sorry.
And
So I was just able to vote. I just voted.
so you're able to vote. So everybody's able to vote in the poll that Tadas just created. Tadas created the end date as February 8th.
Oh, I see.
So yeah,
That was
but then
that was the bug.
no, there's no
No?
bug. It just if you go to the main Optimism Fractal space, then now you'll see 2 polls there, and one is do you register to join the first weekly council, and then one is the one that Tadash just made, and the one that's to register to join the weekly council is now closed, and you can still vote in the other one, but you're not a member of the council. So according to the consensus process, then your vote is more of like it's a signal. You can still you can still signal your opinion, but it's not with the consensus process because you're not a council member because you didn't
Oh.
register before the event started.
So then do we need to manually, okay. How is that displayed? Like how do we know who's on like do you have to manually look at who voted themselves onto the council and then see who that is and then look at all of the proposals for the next week and subtract out all of the people that are not on the council, like subtract out their respect tokens to get the true I guess vote.
Yeah, that's basically right. And I'll just share it again just to be clear. So these are the 2 polls that we have so far. The one
Yeah.
on the top is one that Dasha's made, and the one on the bottom is the registration poll. So what we need to do is we need to go into the registration poll, and then we need to see who voted yes here. And then we would see, okay, it's Rosmari, me, Tadas, Zaal, and and Father Abraham. So those are the people who are on the council, and then we could either just yeah, basically then we could just go back to the previous page and then see, okay, out of those 5 people, me, Rosmari, Tadas, Abraham, and Zaal, or depending on if we counted Zaal because he did it a bit late, then we just count and we'd say, oh, Hodlon voted, but he's not in the council, so we'll skip over Hodlon here. We'll just count, oh, there's Rosmari, me, Tadas, and Zaal, and Abraham.
Is there no way to gate within Snapshot so that certain proposals can only be voted on by people who are on the council?
There might be. Maybe Tadas might be more informed of me than this. I know that Snapshot is very flexible and can be used in many different ways, but that might also require some like custom coding. I know Snapshot has like strategies and stuff like that. So I'm sure it's possible at some point, but for right now, this is just a system that we developed because it didn't require any extra coding, and it's pretty simple overall.
Yeah.
And then perhaps we can work towards refining that system in the future to gate it as well. But there's also some benefit too in being able to see, okay, even though Hodlon's not in the council, we can still see, okay, that's what Hodlon wants, and maybe that weighs in the decision making from the council members and so forth as well. And it still allows people to express their opinions and signal what they think for the council members too.
Right. It would be cool if it automatically like only counted the council members' votes and then everybody else could signal, but those votes don't go into like the final thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure it's possible. You can do really cool stuff with Snapshot. I've seen some great examples, so that's something we can perhaps put a project in on the Optimism Fractal Notion page. I don't know how high a priority it is right now, but it definitely be cool. And so we have a project for develop Optimism Fractal consensus process, as well as like improve Optimism Fractal UX. So we could put it in one of those and have a task for like exploring how to show that up better. And maybe it might be a pretty simple, quick thing that would make it more intuitive.
And then are we going to do the next registration poll?
Yes. So it's going to be put out every week, which I believe will be at the end of the Optimism Fractal event. And so I could put that out again, or if anybody else wants to put it out too, then you can put it as well. Just, I guess one of us does it and does it either right now or right after the event. Um, I'm also still a little bit curious too. I should know, but I'm a little bit confused if when the term is. So say the people get elected now, or who got elected an hour ago, if they are serving, if their term is ending now or their terms are starting now, and it goes until next week's meeting, and then if they can vote on proposals throughout the week. I don't know if we discussed that, and I see Vlad's also has his hand up for a while too. So maybe we should pass over to Vlad first, and then we can answer my question afterwards. Vlad, you muted.
First, quick comment about this registration poll and terms, and I think it's overly complex. I would just look who is just the most respected member for now. Top 6 most respected members, and like use their opinion to reach consensus. But just I wanted to propose another topic if we are done with this.
Okay, well, thank you. Maybe we can hold on that topic. You can hold on to that topic, and we can come back to it in a little bit because I think there's still some stuff to discuss. And we discussed this a lot, and I think that we have the notes between me and Das that we went back and forth a lot in the Optimism Fractal Notion site where we thought about this, and we did come to the conclusion that having this kind of registration poll was very helpful. And I think the main reason is that. If you just have it where it's like all-time top respected people, but then if somebody is not paying attention or something like that, then it could be difficult to approve proposals. And so I actually really like this. It does provide a little bit of complexity, but it's not much. It's just like you can just vote in a quick poll, and then you can just refer to both the original registration poll and the new poll. And then by doing so, you get the assurance that you won't get stuck with people in the council who aren't paying attention, who aren't respect a while ago, and people can still approve proposals quickly and easily if the community wants to do so.
Then the average respect. Looking at the average is still, in my opinion, the best. Without any registration polls. But okay, let it be for now.
So yeah, so and this is kind of getting at like a tricky, so what I would say is like, okay, so make a proposal for it, right? But this is where, so it's like, okay, let's make a proposal to change the thing and we all vote on it. But this is where it diverges between like soft and hard consensus is like, we can agree to do something, but if we don't have the tools built to do it, then we literally can't fulfill our own like wish list of how we want to come to consensus. And so yeah, that's just an interesting I guess an interesting thought I just had. Because I would say like, okay, if you have a proposal for how we want to do this differently, then literally make a proposal to change the process. But what it sounds like is we don't necessarily have the tools to do that. So maybe it's like build the tools. So it's kind of like build the tools and then make the proposal. And I feel like this is like what a lot of DAOs, what a lot of DAOs kind of grapple with and deal with as well. So just some thoughts. Also, I made the proposal for the next week's opt-in.
Awesome. Thank you, Hodlon, very much for making that proposal. Appreciate the initiative and then great thoughts and great points. I see Tadas unmuted and laughing at something, so I'm curious what that is. And
I created a poll as well, so
okay, we're gonna have two councils.
I thought
Fuck.
that this might happen.
yeah, I will delete mine. So
Okay.
So okay, so that's should we put the exact number? Because I just said the weekly council, but I should specify that it's the second one.
I don't know. Do we want? Is it
Because
important?
it expires. So I guess it's not really important because it expires and you can't opt in and use it to vote anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But also I wanted to say like I feel like this is I appreciate the work that was put into getting this basic framework. Like I'm understanding it is like the most simple MVP. Like how do we put something into a proposal and then vote on it? And there's like a lot of improvements that can be made, but like it's starting somewhere, and I really appreciate that. For everybody who had all those discussions and kind of put this together. I think it's a really great starting place.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks, Hodlon. That means a lot, and I appreciate it. And yeah, uh, I share with the heart the Rosmari's putting out there. It was a lot of work. It seems like really simple, just make a poll and just vote on it. But then you have to think, oh, what if this happens? What if somebody doesn't pay attention? Oh, what if this happens? And you have to figure out what tool to use and stuff like that. So Tadas and I were going back and forth a lot. And yeah, our intention was just to start, just have a starting point because we said at the beginning that the bootstrap phase would be 12 weeks, and then it was like coming up to 12 weeks, you're like, what do we do? What do we do? And so we kind of like just lots of time spent back and forth making comments to figure out something that would be good enough to go forward. And I think we have a great start. And like Hadlan mentioned, Vlad, we can use this process to make a proposal. So if you do have a better design for how it could be working, then feel free to bring it up here. And then also formally just to go to this page here, snapshot.org/#optimystic.eth and hit new proposal. And then it's really nice proposal system. Like it looks really clean and stuff. And you can add links or anything like that if you need, or you can just keep it simple. It's quite simple to do. It's actually a really good like process of voting, and it makes it really easy for people to do it too. So these are the two ones. I guess Tadas probably deleted the second one by now. And I don't know if it matters if it's a second council or weekly council. I don't think it matters too much. But yeah, regarding what you're saying about about the average, I think that is what that would require extra building and stuff like that. So feel free whenever you're ready or whenever you think it's a good idea to make a proposal or bring it up about a way that we can refine it. But at least now we have a process to get us going. And then maybe I'll review this. And then I still have that question too. I know Vlad said he had another topic he wanted to get into. I don't know if anybody else has any other topics on mind, but one question I'm curious about too is when is the time of like councilship, basically? Like for example, um so I see Hodlon asked in the chat, what is the quorum set to? So maybe I'll go back to the optimystic.com/details page, which has the intent that we agreed to. but and maybe just me misremembering. The quorum is set to 2/3 of the registered council. So if that is 6 people who register, then that would be 4 people who would need to.
Not, it's not hard coded. It's not hard coded right now. That's still the manual process.
Yeah, yeah, it's correct.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
And that
makes
is what we're
sense.
agreeing
Yeah.
to go by as a community and as opinion. Um, that provides a legitimate process, but it's not actually coded. We just look at that and compare the numbers on the snapshot poll. And then, yeah, maybe I'm just perhaps Tadashi would probably be the most knowledgeable person to clarify this. But I'm just curious. This is a question that I probably should ask as we were doing it, but I'm not totally clear. And maybe I was clear, but so people just so the poll that Hodlon just put up, when does that start? Like, is that for this week coming up, or is that for next week after next Monday?
Yeah, so as the important rule here is 6.2.1. A new council is activated at the start of a respect game meeting. Yeah, so that means that whoever registered in the last week poll before the start of a respect game meeting becomes a new council.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you for clarifying. It might be helpful. I don't know if there's another part here where it explains. I suppose it's probably implied because it says every week during the executive meeting. But so that basically means that this council that was just elected in this meeting will serve until the beginning of next week's meeting, until 17 UTC during next week's meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if we choose, then we can also, I know at Eden Fractal and other places we've had it where people need to make proposals and vote on it at the actual meeting in order to pass something. But this allows people to vote on things throughout the week. So, for example, if somebody had some other idea and they propose it in 2 days from now, then the current council can vote for that in 2 days, and then it would be approved basically by next week's meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then I suppose if for whatever reason the new council didn't agree with that, then they could always, vote to change or something like that. That would be kind of an opportunity next week so people don't get like, too surprised something like that. There's always the opportunity, and these are also as we talked about last week, their opinions too. So we could always change our mind if there's something that we decide that we want to do differently. But that sounds good, and that provides some clarity, and I like the process very much. So thanks to Das for explaining it. Does anybody have any other thoughts or questions or comments on this topic? I know Vlad said he had some topic, and we have 10 minutes left in the planning session. Does anybody have any other thoughts on this topic before we move on? Or anything else that you'd like to cover during this meeting as well, or mention? Okay. Looks like we're good. Well, thanks again for the first proposal. Congratulations, Optimism Fractal community. Really excited about it and looking forward
This is
to what's up.
this is really exciting. I just want to acknowledge that this is like really exciting because we're taking a process that we've been doing for a long time to kind of distribute these votes, and now we're actually like engaging in ideas with them. And it's very simple, but it's like super exciting. So it's a big milestone, I think, for the Optimism Fractal community. So congrats, everyone.
Woohoo! Congrats. Great stuff. I'm putting out some balloons here and all the great stuff. I don't remember what the signs are. There's cool signs I can make it like cool stuff happen or something. I could do thumbs up here. Um, there's some way I could dance. I don't remember how to do that, but using the cool things. Anyway, I totally share your excitement, Hodlon. Thanks for mentioning that. And that's a great point. Really excited to go on these next steps and use this consensus process we have. And I'm sure we'll make many kinds of decisions and stuff with that. I see Vlad's unmuted now. Obviously,
Yeah, I
Zaal's
would make
excited
a,
too. Good to be here. Absolutely.
I would make a remark that it is great that there is a consensus process for the community, so to say. But I would say the councillors would use this voting very rarely, or at least that's how I view it, that the councillors are simply the people who are trusted the most. They are people who are trusted with the contract, the smart contract of the fractal. But the decision making actually comes just from the people who get the respect. The decision making is done mostly on the local level. And that ties a little bit now into the topic that I think it would be valuable to discuss. As Dan mentioned in the beginning, the purpose of the Optimism Fractal is to reward public good creators. So I think it's paramount that we discuss now, now the plan, how to do that. How will we reward public good creators on Optimism? And I see Tadas. Okay, you go first, Tadas. I will go next.
Okay, I want to like I don't know where are you getting the idea that conviction. I would say that the purpose of Optimism Fractal is to reward public good creators. I don't remember us anyone reaching consensus on that.
No, it's grow optimism. I think it's more broader. But when Dan opened the meeting today, he said clearly the purpose is to foster collaboration and reward public goods creators.
Avoiding
No,
public goods creators.
yeah, in our group we discussed that. For me, there is no difference. Reward, that won't. Yeah.
Well,
difference.
well, yeah. From my perspective, we are already awarding people, contributors, by distributing respect. So reward is generally connected with, usually associated more with financial stuff. Awarding is just a signal of that someone did something.
Yeah. Mm. Well, a reward won't feed you, or I mean, award won't feed you and your family. So I think it's important to think how to reward actual public good creators. That's the whole point, to get
I
some
agree.
monetary value.
I'm not saying we should not discuss that. I was just saying that, like, first, like, I would raise a question about, like, scope of what Optimism Fractal is, and is it really, I would raise a question if like Optimism Fractal should really like reward in the sense of distributing liquid tokens. So, you know.
Yes, that's exactly where I want to get to. And I think it's not, both ways are possible, right? But just one is way more, in my opinion, impactful than the other. So I think the respect token that you get, it should be liquid. And this respect token should have a liquidity pool so that for your work on public goods and optimism, you can actually earn. And I think this is also a crucial like element to attract more people to this fractal. And then the question is, how do you create the liquidity pool for the respect token? And I think we as Optimistics, we should allocate or pledge or lock somehow in a contract some percentage from the next, should we receive something the next retro PGF season, we should pledge to lock something into the pool. Thoughts?
Very interesting discussions. I have lots of thoughts about this. We discussed some of it, but I see Hodlon is unmuting too. Do you want to go ahead, Hodlon?
No, I just wanted to really quickly, the concept of, I think you're talking about the concept of having liquidity pool for respect tokens. My understanding is that respect tokens are non-transferable tokens and are designed specifically to not be liquid, to not to be transferable between people. They're only given by the Optimism Fractal community or taken away.
Yeah, that's the current design, but actually we lose a lot if we continue like that. And I would share here as well in the chat the white paper of the Fractally team. I shared it in our breakout room. I encourage Abraham and Hodlon you to check it out because there's like, it's mostly written by Dan Larimar, who is sort of popularized in EOS community this notion of fractal democracy, and he's light years ahead in the governance thing. So anyway, yeah, I really recommend that paper, and by the design of that paper, they he sees that the token should be liquid because that's the actual way how you reward people for doing the public good work. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Vlad. I have some thoughts on Tadas's hand up, and we're only a couple minutes away from the top of the end. So I suppose we can keep it going for a couple minutes past, and I'm happy to stick around for longer if we want, but also we probably should not go much over. So maybe we'll pass over to Das, and then I'll share some quick thoughts, and then maybe we'll wrap it up real quick after then, or I don't know. I think that might be good. But I'll pass on to Das first.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have a lot of arguments for keeping the respect non-transferable. We already we keep talking with Vlad about it. But yeah, I want to share this too, but I don't know how much I should talk about it here. Yeah, I think there are other ways to reward Optimism Fractal contributors without taking on this issue of controlling a liquid token.
Sounds good. And yeah, so I'll also share some quick thoughts here and also share my screen to provide a bit more context as well. And then if we did want to go longer, we could. I mean, I don't want to cut it off too soon. So if the community wanted to stay, we could. But I saw Abraham, which his head, yeah, and we determined to try to be punctual. So if people do want to stay around for longer, then let us know. But otherwise, I'll still try to wrap it up in the next couple of minutes, I suppose. So I agree with Tadas generally. I really appreciate Vlad bringing it up because it provides some helpful context into an important discussion and a design that I think is also very interesting. So Vlad had shared that white paper, and I'll go ahead and share my screen. And this is you can find it at fractally.com where you can learn more as well. And this is a big inspiration. It came out 2 years ago, almost a day, and this was created by Dan Larimar, as Vlad had mentioned, Dan Larimar created EOS, he created Hive, he created BitShares. He's one of the leading pioneers in Web3 and in the internet in general. And you can check out the white paper that he shared here, as well as an introductory video where you can see Dan Larimar and their team introduce this. This was kind of like the beginning of the respect game. They didn't call it the respect game at that time, but it has a lot of the ideas about what led to the respect game and Optimism Fractal. And then about a year ago with another fractal, Vlad made the name respect game, but it has a lot of core ideas and there's a lot of really great insights in this white paper. So I recommend checking it out. And Vlad is correct that when this white paper first came out, the design was to have a liquid respect token, and then people could basically earn rewards just by joining the event. And there's a lot of great things to it, and that was the original plan for a while. And I think that the Fractally team might still plan on doing that in some sense because they have a new organization called Sync where they're planning to do these things. You can check it out at sync.com if you want to learn more about what they're doing now. We used to have a Genesis Fractal where we worked directly with this team who created this idea, and then we kind of refined it and took it in our own direction. So that provides some history for where we're coming from here and lots of people to collaborate with in the future. And then, yeah, my opinion is pretty similar to Tadas's in that I think it's better. I think for some communities it can be very helpful to have a liquid token, but there's also some complications and risks that come with that too. And there's an advantage to having a non-transferable soulbound token. And Tadas, actually, the day before we started Optimism Fractal, Tadas had shared a link here saying, I think I found a new word, and it's award rather than reward. And this kind of goes to, they sound similar, but award is a mark of recognition for an achievement. For example, it's earning respect for doing something helpful, whereas reward is usually something given for service or effort. For example, it's my reward for working all week or something like that. And so generally awards like trophies or, cool things like that, and rewards are money. And so it is a pretty big distinction. And my opinion is that it's interesting to explore the ideas for rewards, but also that adds some risk of like people being online on video, and it could make it more intense if like people are like, oh, I really want to win the money and stuff like that. And there also could be some legal complications there too, and it could make it more difficult to make changes and stuff. So I can go more in detail, and we have discussed this a lot on our Optimistics team meetings. So perhaps we can either publish those or share some more of those. But yes, Vlad, respect his opinion, which is also very thoroughly defined in this white paper as well, where Dan Larimar and the team talked about what is respect and so forth. And this has changed a little bit maybe since we've been innovating for the past couple of years, but it has a lot of great resources, so I would recommend reading it. So yeah, I'm generally aligned with the idea that we should have awards, and then we have places like RetroPGF to be able to do the rewarding. And there's a benefit in having those two purposes separated. So a community like Optimism Fractal can do the awards, and then badge holders and RetroPGF can do rewards based upon that awards. And that's one of the things we're trying to do, make it so that people can earn respect and then they can get votes from badge holders and so forth. I can say more about that too. But yeah, maybe I'll pass on to Tadas and then we can wrap it up whenever we're ready, because I see Tadas has his hands up.
Yeah, just wanted to propose like this is a big topic. I think we made a good intro into it. Maybe we can dedicate some future meeting for discussing this further. Well, I'm also interested what others from this community think about these options. Yeah, so currently respect is non-transferable, but we can do anything basically.
Yeah, and so Vlad had put respect in his opinion, and then Vlad asked, "Do you transfer opinions or trade them?" Question mark. So that's something we can discuss in the future. And once again, Tadas shared, or Vlad shared rather, the link to the white paper, and maybe also share fractally.com if people want to dive in deeper that. And yeah, I think that this respect game has a lot of potential and a lot of different variations of it. Just like how there's many different plants and many different trees in the world, different kinds of fractals in nature, there can be different ways that communities cooperate. And I love to help people cooperate in all kinds of ways. And it's just a matter of figuring out what's best for Optimism Fractal at this point, and then showing people the way and lighting different paths. With that, I'm curious if maybe Abraham or Zaal or Hodlon or Rosmari want to share any more thoughts to wrap it up, or Vlad, you have any other thoughts about this, or if we're ready to wrap it up? See, Abraham's unmuted.
I think just real quick from my perspective anyway, I've seen so many communities where the purpose of people joining the community is reward, and they you end up with a lot of mercenaries, and you end up with a lot of people that are in it for motives other than contributing to the community, or there's token farming and all that. I think the thing that really inspires me about this is that it is almost more of a human interaction than like if you're gonna vote for somebody, you don't vote for them because you're gonna get money to vote for them. You vote for them because you like what they think and you agree with them, right? So I think that that's kind of the system that I'm seeing here is with respect, is that it's actually a hierarchy that would be a layer above a monetary system.
Very interesting points, Abraham. Thank you. Oh, I see Hodlon's unmuted.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, I generally agree with that. And I'm also very interested in, like, I'm here because I'm interested in learning and exploring all sorts of ideas. And I think this is like a very fascinating topic. And so, yeah, I'm excited to, obviously we don't have time right now, we're over time. But I'm interested in like understanding all these different ideas. And yeah, I think this is a great discussion to have. I think it's largely why we're here is grappling with these different ideas.
Yep. I agree. Great points. Thank you very much, Abraham and Hodlon, for sharing the wisdom. I saw Rosmari's putting a heart out, and Zaal did too, and clapping. I think Tadas was clapping too at some point there. So love to see the enthusiasm. And yeah, at the same time, we also do want to figure out ways that people can earn funding too, because people do need to earn funding in order to survive. It's really important. With Retro PGF, I see a huge opportunity for people to earn funding in the Optimism community, and we can attract more people and help people get funded from there. From our experience with fractals over the past couple of years, there wasn't the since the Genesis fractal and other fractals stopped doing the liquid token. There was a question of how do people get funded by doing this. Um, that's also a thing. I agree with what Hadlan was saying, with what Abraham was saying, that it changes the motivation, and it's important to balance these things. But also, if we can figure out ways to help people get funded, whether that's the community funding it or Retro PGF or somebody, then that would be great. And that's something that we worked on a mission request that we didn't wind up doing, but we were talking about how maybe badge holders could use respect to in order to allocate their funding during Retro PGF. And we also had some other ideas that could also help facilitate that as well and merge with Retro PGF in some ways. We have some exciting plans that we can discuss in future weeks. But yeah, we are almost 10 minutes over time. I don't want to rush it off if Vlad or Zaal or anybody else wants to make some last comments, but happy to wrap it up now if we're ready. Any last thoughts, or what do we think? I've got a thumbs up from Abraham. Oh, is that Vlad? And thumbs up from Das.
I saw Tadas unmuted, but I wanted to say it's good topic to discuss next time again. Maybe let's think of some way to propose the topics beforehand. Yeah.
I think we can simply propose them using the same system on Snapshot.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if anybody has a topic, if you want to discuss this topic or anything else that's on your mind at next week's meeting, then feel free to just make a proposal at that snapshot, and then you can just say do you want to discuss this topic at next week's meeting, and then write a little bit about it, and then we can vote on it there. And otherwise, if we don't, then we can figure it out like this. But I think that provides a good process, at least to start out where we can pick the topics for each week. All right. Well, thanks for the great discussion. Thanks, Vlad, for bringing up that interesting discussion. And thanks so much, Abraham, Hodlon, and Tadas for all the great thoughts here. And congratulations once again on the first proposal approved. Happy to see that the respect will be going to the right account for Abraham. And congrats and thanks to everybody. Thanks so much for the great respect game today. We are meeting here every Monday at 17 UTC. Optimismfractal.com, lou.masters Encourage you to join, invite your friends. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We can wrap it up with a Go Optimism Fractal, perhaps. Maybe I'll lead it. 3, 2, 1. Go Optimism Fractal.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. See you next time.